The Zombies' Colin Blunstone says the band was always Rod Argent's band. They talk about keeping their voices in check, healthy lifestyle, and a whole bunch more. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Keeping a good lifestyle in rock and roll is sometimes hard, but it keeps bands lasting a little longer if you keep off the sauce. In this segment, we talk about how they're both using the same vocal coach and how they go through every little breath when it comes to recording a song. Colin Blunstone, Rod Argent.
The band was always led musically by Rod. I've always thought of it as his band, really. He's written most of the songs, and I think we're all led by him in the studio. Particularly I am. We talk about the phrasing of a song constantly for hours. Hopefully it all sounds effortless and as if I'm just singing off the top of my head, but I can assure you that's not the case. We go into it, and as we've got older, we do it more and more. We go into it very extensively, the phrasing of the song. And we're actually recording at the moment, and I've spent quite a few hours with Rod going over the first three songs are his, and going over those songs with him. And we'll talk about every breath, every nuance in a song before we start. I might not nail it all when we come to do it, but we will have talked about absolutely everything about that vocal performance.
Well, speaking of that, Rod was saying that he really works on his vocals, and it's a thing that, well, you know, Colin, a lot of singers of your ilk can't sing anymore. I mean, I know you can, but how have you maintained that? Because you're still reaching those peaks. You still singing those songs. They still sound like they did before. I mean, I know you're an older man, but how have you maintained that?
Well, I think some of it might be luck, actually. I don't know about, maybe it's in the genes, you know, but the other thing is, like Rod, we both started with the same singing coach. It's probably about 15 years ago now, and he gave us a set of singing exercises, which we try and do when we're on the road. I think, you know, Rod's got other things to think about because obviously he plays and he writes more than I do, but I am primarily just a singer. So when we're on the road, I go through this set of exercises at least twice a day, once before sound check and once before the show. So before the show, I will have been singing exercises for an hour. That's probably half an hour for the set of exercises. I might do them twice. So I will have been singing for an hour, and I find that really helps me. And other than that, it's really just trying to eat sensibly, and it's very boring, eat sensibly, and especially to get plenty of sleep. Drink lots of water. These things are so important, and it's not very rock and roll, you know, it's not very wild, but especially as you get older, you have to do these things. Drink plenty of water, and do your vocal exercises, and all will be well.
You know, the greatest thing when you make music, and we feel this to the present day, we're working on a new album at the moment. We've recorded 3 tracks, and we're always more excited about what we're doing now than anything we've ever done in the past. I mean, that's just the nature of things, but we still that's the reason why Colin and I are still doing this, because we get such a buzz from continuing to create and to go out and play new stuff live, along with all the old stuff. We're very happy to play all the old stuff, and we love that as well, but always within the context, you know, of being able to create and do new stuff. So when it actually communicates with people in such a terrific way, that's a privilege and a joy.
Still Got the Hunger. When I was listening to that, I was thinking, I mean, the name says it right, because a lot of older bands, and Rod, you know this, try to recapture or whatever they're doing. Most of them are just, they're prolific, so they want to write, but that is an unbelievable project.
Well, it was exactly what I've just been talking about. We wanted really to get excited about recording and creating, and we do 2 or 3 songs from that album on our stage show, along with the older stuff, you know, like, you know, obviously Time of the Season and She's Not There and some of Odyssey and Oracle, etc. But we'll always play maybe 3 new songs. And you know what? We quite often get into a situation where we might play Time the Season, which, as you can imagine, goes down a complete storm. And then we'll follow it with a song from Still Got That Hunger. And it's received fantastically live. And that is almost the biggest thrill of all. That, and I have to say, if a radio station plays something you've just done or something new, it's always the biggest thrill, even though we're very, very grateful for all the plays we get on all the old stuff. It's fantastic. But at the same time, when you get a play on something new, it's that's what really gets you. But it's that communication, and often with some really quite young people. People come up and say how much they loved it, and they might be 25 years old. So that's fantastic as well.
I know you worked with Steve Hackett on the Genesis Revisited album. I was talking to Steve. I've interviewed him 3 times. The first time, I think he was in New York, and it was incredibly early. And I was in a different time zone too. And I said, well, wait a minute. It's 7:30 in the morning there. And he says, well, I can't live the rock and roll lifestyle anymore. He says, we all break the mold when we get to our age because we have to be sensible because we've all lost so many people, right?
Oh, absolutely. It does intrigue and interest me that when we meet up with other bands, and I see it with, obviously with the Zombies, who I travel with all the time, that people are very aware of trying to live a healthy lifestyle on the road. And those days of madness are well gone. I don't know if young bands still, party all the time, but they probably do. But as you get older, you realize that you've really got to look after yourself if you want to continue touring. Yeah. And that's just the way. You don't have any choice, really. You just have to. I've noticed that with us, at the end of the show, there's a stampede to get back to the hotel, to get to bed, so everyone wants to get their sleep. Very few people drink. If they do, it's only moderately. I've never seen any drugs anywhere around us. So people are living very healthily if they want to stay on the road, generally speaking.
We'll have more from Colin and Rod coming up next week. I love the Zombies, and you got to love Argent. I remember I was like 12 years old when I heard Hold Your Head Up. And we'll talk about that in a future episode. Remember, keep buying those T-shirts. You can actually pick the quality of the T-shirt you want. If you want a bargain variety type, you can. You can get a high-end one. You can get a sweatshirt. We're working on caps right now, a bag, sweatpants, with either Rock History Music, this channel, Rock History Book, or Rock History Canada. Links in the description of this video. Make sure you comment on our videos. We read all the comments. Subscribe to our channel and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And share our videos on social media. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Take care.